Jamie Welton, the official heir of the Count family of Seldom Kingdom, wakes up in his luxurious room from a dream that's been disturbing his sleep consistently. By the looks of it, he's just a 9-year-old boy living a luxurious life due to his father being the best sword master, but in reality, he's Diablo Wolfear, the darkest magician from 66,666 years back, when while fighting the 12 gods of the world, he was sealed in eternal misery by them gods, which was ironic to his previous self since he knew that the gods couldn't defeat him and could only seal him up with all their might. Diablo had sworn to come back one day and defeat those gods, and he did find a crack in the barrier after all those years and made out of the seal. What the darkest magician didn't expect was to be reborn as a baby to the Welton family. When he woke up, he was faced with the couple who are his parents in this life, gushing over how pretty and cute their son is, while Diablo did not even know that he was a baby and couldn't even speak yet. He spent 9 years this way, pretending to be sweet and innocent as baby Jamie, rather than being the evil Diablo Wolfear. As Jamie wonders about all this while looking out of the window of his room, his nanny approaches him, surprised at him being awake already. Ready for another tiring day of acting like a 9-year-old, he greets his nanny and tells her he got up so early to look at the pretty morning sky. His nanny is pleased with the affectionate nature of the young master, while the master is self-disgusted at acting so cringe. Nevertheless, he enthusiastically agrees on getting dressed to meet his family at the breakfast dining. Before reaching the dining hall, Jamie takes in a huge sigh, preparing himself for all the sweet family moments coming his way any minute now. As soon as Jamie settles himself with his little enthusiastic sister, his mother, Sears Belle Welton, gushes over how pretty her kids are and talks to her husband about them taking over his features. The highly qualified swordmaster, Argeno Welton, is no less than his partner, as he romantically tells his wife that the kids are angelic like her. He observes all the lovey-dovey moments of his parents, while his sister Sarah Welton shares her food with him, so to match the affection, he does it too. This impresses the parents but annoys Jamie since he isn't doing it by heart. After a dragged breakfast, Jamie falls face first on his bed, since even after 9 years, he can't handle the over-affectionate behavior. He is still somewhat glad that he doesn't have to talk cute like a baby anymore, and he can do much more like enjoying the private library and gaining knowledge it has for him. He feels a bit sad that he is still relatively very weak as compared to his old self, while the 12 gods still exist, leeching off their believers like parasites. He still feels confident about becoming strong enough to defeat the 12 gods this time. But his frustrated thoughts are broken by the entrance of his nanny, who's here to escort him to his mother for their story time. Jamie acts cute in front of his nanny as well as his mother and Sarah, making them hug him and gush over him, while his internal Diablo just wants to be sealed off again. After hearing a story about some magician, he exclaims like a typical 9-year-old that he'll become as strong as the magician, to which Sears mentions how he is fully capable of becoming a great magician, since he even defeated the 3 magic teachers. Jamie feels like his mother is mocking him, but the sweet woman is praising him and tells him that his father is planning on bringing one of the strongest magicians as his teacher, so he can learn well, praising his father's efforts. He moves towards the library, but of course his mother needs a hug first, so he pretends to be loving and engulfs her in a big hug, which makes his mother find him so cute that she doesn't want to let go. Jamie reads a book on mana breathing but doesn't find it any useful, but before he can find any other book, he notices it's time for another dreadful meal and trudges out reluctantly towards the dining hall, only to find an old man standing in the doorway of the dining hall. He notices the high-level mana surrounding the old man but gets frustrated at his attitude and the fact that he's judging Jamie's potential. The old man notices that this kid has much more potential for a 9-year-old and wants to see his strength due to his confident demeanor. This annoys Diablo Wolfear, who gets ready to give the old man a mindful message. Offended by the judgmental gaze of the old man, Jamie decides to show him what he's capable of and attacks the old man with whatever magical energy he has at the moment. The old man dodges the attack but is so heavily impressed by the magic of that 9-year-old that he grins to his fullest and decides it's his turn to attack now. Jamie is a bit surprised that his magic didn't affect the old man even the slightest, but he stays still in his position unimpressed as he noticed the movement of the old man and realized the man's magic is not going to be directed at him, even though Jamie knew well and doesn't even blink. Argeno intervenes and defends the magic, warning the magician of going too far by attacking his son. Argeno turns toward Jamie, who decides to act shaken up by the attack of Marquess Linmel, the old man. Marquess greets Argeno with all his enthusiasm possible, feeling envious of him, while Argeno looks at the old man dumbfounded since he just attacked his son and is not greeted as if nothing happened. While having a conversation with Marquess later, Argeno expresses his anger at him for attacking him while he wanted Marquess to teach his son. Marquess laughs the situation off, telling him to calm down and realize how genius his son is. Knowing Argeno does not know much about his son's strength, he denies taking up the offer. This confuses Argeno since Marquess is known to be the strongest 8th class magician, and his rejection makes it sound like Jamie isn't capable enough to be taught by someone from the 8th class. Upon being asked to be more specific, Marquess shares that he can't teach Jamie because he won't be able to handle him. This baffles Argeno, who is told that Jamie was able to read Marquess's magic and didn't even flinch knowing the magic wasn't directed at him. Marquess expresses that Jamie is already in 3rd class of magic and will technically be higher if not his body's limit. And all this has been done by Jamie's self-teaching. Marquess further adds that a genius monster has been born and all he needs is Argeno's support and protection, and he'll teach himself to become even a legendary 9th class magician. Marquess takes his leave, excited about a storm of magic about to hit the whole world once Jamie perfects himself, while Argeno keeps sitting there still sighing continuously and trying to digest the big revelation about his son by Marquess. Jamie comes back to his room extremely exhausted, not by the exchange with Marquess, but by all the cuddling and whining of his mother after she hears that Marquess tried to attack him. She kept chanting how she'll scold the magician for doing so. It felt like an eternity to him, but now, finally, in his own private space, he feels refreshed as he thinks of how he finally got to see some real magic today. He seems very impressed by how fine the magic was, but he was more impressed by his father's strength and stance, rather than the Marquess's, since he knew Argeno was strong, but did not expect him to have that much strength. He feels satisfied that in terms of strength, that person fits to be his father and laughs to him, but is jolted out of his thoughts when someone from behind asks what's so funny to him. Jamie staggers upon noticing Marquess sitting on his bed and falls in surprise, which amuses Marquess about what thoughts the kid might be having to not notice a whole other presence in his room. Jamie shakily asks what he's doing in his room, feeling low-key impressed by his teleportation skills. Marquess feels sad that his abilities are not strong enough to be this kid's mentor. However, he decides to give him a book filled with the magic that Marquess created himself, since he knows that the magic Jamie is using is too old and it needs to be refreshed. Jamie seems interested in what lies in the book, but keep a tab on how he felt humiliated at his magic being called old, so he'll avenge it later. Jamie surfs through the book a little and lies down on his back, amused at how he already found 2 cons in the book. The mana breathing technique has a certain limit of mana that can be stored in the heart, and breaking mana into particles is something way too specific that not everyone can do, but Diablo Wolfir can come up with solutions to that. He brings out Black, a bat-like creature who made a soul contract with him, and gives him the job of breaking the mana into precise pieces that his skin can absorb, storing mana. He'll have to use his other body parts than heart to increase the limit to how much mana he can store. Diablo Wolfir is confident in making use of the book and not having any limits.